state government, federal government can make, well, they make their decisions of their own. I'm not governor, I'm not president of the United States. But I'm interested in seeing if everyone who lives here exercises their full obligation as they live here, which to me seems to include the vote.
Even if they're living here illegally?
Yes.
Came for New Haven and West Haven. Why is it now you decide to run for mayor of New Haven? What kind of influenced you to go that route?
New Haven needs strong leadership. New Haven needs leadership that understands how to work with the state. I don't know that most people understand that over 50% of our budget comes from the state of Connecticut. Yet in the past 20 years, we haven't had a mayor that actually has had a relationship with any of the previous governors. I've had a relationship with all of the previous governors. I understand the budget process because I co-chair the Appropriations Committee. I know how to actually get things done at the state on behalf of the city. If we weren't so dependent upon state dollars, then you could have these lapses in leadership. When I looked at the cast of people who were running, none of them had a relationship with the General Assembly. None of them had a relationship with the governor.
Right.
None of them really understood how or understand how departments work.
And Mr. Fernandez, you're running for mayor 2013.
Yes.
What is one congruent thing that you promise to my viewers and to the people of New Haven that you would do if you step foot in office?
Well, let me actually say three things that
Okay.
I'll absolutely focus on. One is we need dramatically better public schools for every child, right? It shouldn't be random through the lottery to determine whether or not your child gets to go to a great New Haven public school.
All right. What got your curiosity in running for mayor, and why now?
Find value in my life in making other people happy. And if I'm 80 years old and I have a fancy car and a fancy house, but I look back on the things I've done in my life and I haven't maximized my ability to improve the world, I would consider myself a failure. Now, New Haven has incredible opportunity, and around the nation and including New Haven, people are looking for politicians and political leaders that have integrity, that are honest, that don't play the classic political games. And so I feel like I can play that role as mayor, as someone that's responsive to the people, that gives them to them straight. When I can fix a problem, I'm going to do everything I can to fix it. But if I can't, I'm going to give it to people straight and say, hey, I've tried and I can't fix your problem. But
You have a few tough opponents, well-known state reps and aldermen. Who do you think is a tough opponent?
You know, I actually I don't see the race that way in terms of one or the other. I think that what we need to do is talk about the issues.
Right.
And so I mentioned the issues of crime and education and jobs. And we need to talk about those, and I think if I can lay out my vision for this city, this idea that we're all working together, one city, that for too long we've been divided. But if we work together as one city, we can make big leaps forward, make real change for the residents of this city. I think as long as we talk about that, we'll be in a good place.
Last question. So New Haven, and I'm sure you know this, has never really been on the top of the totem pole when it comes to education, academics, particularly the high schools in New Haven. We're always far behind with the SATs and the standard tests. So you becoming mayor, what are some of your goals to kind of close that gap in New Haven? Because, you know, frankly, I'm tired of the adults and even the kids complaining about it. Academics and our education should never be an issue, especially moving forward. So what do you plan on doing about, closing that gap, especially in New Haven?
So the first thing you have to recognize is that all kids are not going to go to college.
Right.
But if they're going to work in this knowledge-based economy, they have to at least have some form of certificate.
Right.
And what you can do, so if you think about career high school, in career high school you can become a certified EMT. With the emergency medical technician certification, you can take that, you can become an RN, and we need RNs. You can just be an emergency medical tech, and you can get a job in a hospital, you can get a job for an ambulance company. You can take that certification anywhere in this country, and you can get it in high school. It ought to be available to all of our high schools.
Right.
And there are other certifications that actually we should allow our children to get, whether they're going to college or not, at the high school level. The other thing
Second is we've got to significantly cut crime. That starts with even more of a focus on community policing. It also means that we've got to intervene significantly more with our young people, right? Make sure that children and teenagers have places to go after school and summer camp, and we have summer jobs for every kid, every young adult who wants one. And
One of the most common concern or request I hear is jobs, that we need more jobs, and it's tied to that hope. People need hope for a better future. New Haven is in a unique position because of our growing healthcare industry here, particularly around the hospital and Yale University, biotech, life science jobs. And those
A lot of people I've heard through the grapevine are talking about it's going to be a close one between you and Kerm Carolina, just because of the fact you are a well-established state senator of Connecticut, well-known, have done a lot of great things. Kerm is also currently the principal of James Hill High School, well-known figure in New Haven, basketball coach. He's the founder and director of one of the hottest camps in New Haven to get the young youth off the street. So a lot of people are saying, that's why I've been here, it's going to be a toss-up between you two. So if it is, and that is true, looking forward in the future, what do you bring to the table that he doesn't bring, or something that he lacks?
Oh, I really have a great deal of respect for Mr. Carolina. I think that he's worked hard, particularly in his coaching days, to give young people an opportunity through sports. And, you know, certainly I don't have that sports background, but what I do have, as much as he has, I probably have as much administrative. I've actually administered budgets and developed a $20 billion budget. I don't think he's ever done that. I basically have connections, as I said before, with the governor, with the General Assembly. I understand how that system works. I sat on the Board of Aldermen. I also understand how that system works and how you work with that system to get things done and to develop policy. I've spent years studying policy and understanding policies that we need to move our city forward. He has basically been a principal of a school and has done wonderful work with athletics, but really hasn't made a study, one, of how our state system works, and also of the policies that we need to actually implement to move our city forward. So that's what I bring to the table. And it's very different, frankly, than any of the people who are in the race. No one has the experience that I have.
I am the only candidate that has experience managing and familiarity with municipal budgets. What I mean by that is I've been on the Board of Aldermen for 2 years, and in that time I have dealt with every issue, whether it's neighborhood issues of everything from getting people's potholes filled, to people's streets paved, to traffic calming infrastructure, to prostitution on a corner in Cedar Hill, to a rooming house in Cedar Hill, to dirt bikes in Fairhaven.
Wow.
I've dealt with all of these issues, and every one of these issues requires a lot of management of different employees in city departments to reach an outcome that's successful.
thing is jobs. So I mentioned jobs for teenagers, but we need to have high-quality jobs for adults. We need to have high-quality jobs for every resident of this city, so that they get good pay, they have health care and other benefits, and the ability to retire with dignity. So those are the three things that, no question, this campaign is focused on.
You have a few